Hello there and welcome to Bo Beats. Today we are talking the Roland MC101. My dear Roland, while we all appreciate the updates to the MC707, the new sample slicing, the new file format, the new recorders and other things, we of course aren't satisfied. I mean, we live in a time where we always want new things, new updates. So I took it upon myself to ask over on the MC101 and 707 users group for updates that people want. So here's a couple of updates that the community want for the MC101. Now first, and this is no surprise to anybody at Roland, I suspect, we all want a song mode for the 707 and the 101. There's so many people that have been asking for it. It's probably the top one most requested feature for both the 707 and the 101. Secondly, we'd love an arpeggiator. I mean, it's already very much geared towards live performance, so why not an arpeggiator? I think it would be pretty straightforward to implement. You could have it so that you can turn it on or off basically per track, I'd say. That'd be cool. So it would be cool if it wasn't just for the tone parts, so you could use an arpeggiator for the drum parts even. An arpeggiator per track would very much be appreciated. The next thing on my list is something I don't really know if it's even remotely possible, if it's something you guys at Roland want to do, but I would love to be able to edit the synth patches. Because the thing is, this is a really interesting 128 voice little portable synth, but a lot of the power is locked within the presets and the fact that you can't really edit them in any meaningful way on the device itself. So I have two suggestions. Either make more parameters available on the device itself, or make an app for it for Android and iOS, or the computer, or both. I think that could be really cool. I also think that what you'd be supporting is more of a user-driven community where people would make patches, share them, and so on, not needing to have the MC707. And I get that you want to sell both the 707 and the 101, but I think in terms of a marketing strategy, I think it's a bad one. I don't think it's a huge group that will look at both devices and say, you know, I'll get both so I can edit the sounds on the 707 and bring them into the 101. I don't think that's a big group. So instead, I think you should make it possible to really create sounds on this device because it's super powerful, sounds good, and I think it would just be a lot of fun. Now here's another suggestion. While you can save clips and patterns inside of the 101 and 707, it would also be great if you could save kits and synth patches, so you'd have them available in some kind of list format. Even though you can save kits and sounds as clips and then load them into another project, I don't think it's a good way to interact with a device like this, especially if you have a ton of clips. It becomes hard to find what you're looking for. So a dedicated way to save them and list them, basically the sounds and the kits. This would also go hand in hand with having more of a community around these devices, because you could easily save patches you've made and share them instead of sharing entire project files, for example. So I think that could be really cool. And if you want to take it one step further, you could look at Novation's playbook and do some kind of online portal where you could upload the sounds you've created and let people share it that way. That could be something to look at. You know, I'm sure you could do it in your own way. Integrate it with the other cloud services that you have. I'm not sure, but something like that would be really cool. And this takes me to another potential update that I'd love to see, and that is a librarian. Either offline or online, but somewhere where we could save kits, synth sounds, different patterns, clips, somewhere to organize what we're doing on these devices. Because one feature that some people might overlook is the fact that you can use the MC707 to create stuff, bring it into the MC101, or vice versa. It's probably more logical vice versa, making something on the road on the MC101 and then bringing it into the 707. Now, you can do this manually by just dragging the project files, but it would also be really nice to be able to upload it to the cloud, like with components for Novation, and then download it to another device or store it for later. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a good way to back stuff up. So yeah, consider that, Roland. Another update that you've done for the 707 is of course the sample slicing. Now, this device doesn't sample, it doesn't have analog inputs, but it does sample over USB, and you can of course load samples into it. So a sample slicing function on the 101 would also be very much appreciated, because essentially you'll be using it pretty much the same way you'll be using a 707, just more limited. But yeah, sample slicing would be really nice to have as well. So these were a few things I've written down. I'm just gonna go and check the poll if there was anything else I missed that I think was really good or meaningful. Let me see here. No, it's song mode has the most votes, then we are arpeggiator, sample slicing, more synth engine parameters to tweak sounds with. Oh yeah, copy pasting steps. Yeah, I think you might need to do some improvements on that one. Standalone synth editor, PC librarian, saving preset kits. And then we of course have 6 people voting for all of the above suggestions. So these were some community suggestions for updates to the MC101. I think it's a fun groovebox, but I do think that Roland, you have to put in the work, making sure that people understand that this is a serious platform, that you're truly committed to it. That's very important because, as you know, with the TR8S, people are still waiting for updates to it. So I think having a look at that is very important. And let me just talk briefly on the philosophy of updating stuff, because updates is not something mandatory. I think we should all appreciate the fact that we're not paying for most of the updates. On software side, we're usually paying for it. So on the hardware side, we're not paying for it. It's not something we can take for granted. However, I think it's in Roland's and every company's best interest to show consumers, especially when it comes to hardware, that these products are serious. It's a long-term investment. It's often quite a lot more expensive to buy one of these compared to software. It's really less kind of effective when you think about it, the amount of money you're spending. You're getting less for your money, but you're getting hardware, which can be fun and tactile, and yeah, you can bring it with you without having to have a computer. But overall, we're not paying for the updates, so we should actually be happy for what we get, but it's in the interest of companies to support their products, to make us trust them. So dear Roland, I think that's important to consider. It's about consumer trust. Take companies like Electron and Novation. They've built a really strong following based on the fact that they update their products, that they show support and show that their products are like a long-term investment, and that consumers get more features as we move along and they fix bugs and so on. I mean, not always in a timely manner, but still, they show that they're in it for the long run. If we take the Novation Circuit, for example, when it was released, it was good value for the money. Now, with all the updates, it's superb value for the money. It's so much better than when it was released. Even for consumers who aren't interested in the circuit, they see it and they realize that this is a company who's invested in their products. And it's a way to set yourself apart from the many companies who releases something and doesn't care about it. So I think that's why it's super important to keep updating the products. So to me personally, updates are super important. It's about consumer trust. It's about building a relationship to the audience, listening to the feedback. And so far you've done a great job with MC707 updates. So now we just want to see, some small things for the MC101. Thank you, Roland, for listening, and thank you everybody for watching. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up and leave your comments with suggestions what you want to see Roland update the 101 and 707 with. If there's other updates you want for Roland products, be sure to leave them down in the comment section. Oh, and if there are other companies that I should do a little Dear Company feedback video to, let me know and maybe I can make it if it makes sense. So, have a great day, talk to you later.